Welcome back into Sports Zone, everyone. I'm Claire Foley. We're continuing our coverage from the NCAA Women's Basketball Final Four from right here at Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. The Final Four is, of course, the best teams in the country, but as we've seen from South Carolina's games so far in this tournament, the gap between the great teams is smaller than ever as the sport of women's basketball continues to grow. I had the chance to talk to some of the on-air broadcasters from ESPN who cover these teams all year long. And of course, we specifically asked them about the matchup between South Carolina and Texas, but we also talked to them about how the sport is growing and how aiding that is part of their job.
The teams are good. The teams are really good. The talent is very spread out. Like that's kind of the thing now that I love about women's college basketball is there's not just four teams you could pick from if you want to play for a great program. You could choose a multitude of teams and a multitude of places for a multitude of coaches that are really talented and know the game and they know how to scheme and they've seen each other in the past, and now these coaches are familiar with each other and these other coaches are getting more talent to come to their programs as well. So the competition is going to get better, but that's what we love.
Excitement is building for the 2025 Final Four between South Carolina and Texas and UCLA and UConn. The biggest stage in the sport getting bigger by the year. And while Gamecock fans might be used to South Carolina blowing teams out of the water, the close games indicate growth within the sport of women's basketball. And the broadcasters from ESPN see growing the game as within their job description.
The way you make people care in the long term and continue to grow it, and the way you hook the casual fan, is by giving them a personal tie, and giving them a reason to root for somebody. For Rebecca, Holly, and me, like our number one goal whenever we go into a broadcast is to do right by the women on the floor. And we care so much about that. And a huge part of that is making sure you tell the stories of the women who are playing.
And this Final Four is filled with names and stories that fans know, from those taking the court like Paige Beckers, Lauren Betts, Madison Booker, and Mylasia Fulwiley, to even those on the sidelines and legends like Gino Auriemma and Dawn Staley. And when she's not on the TVs in your living rooms, Chiney Ogwumike is traveling across the globe to grow women's sports, and she's seeing the results in real time.
I'll go back home to Nigeria and they'll be like, Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers. Like, there's they care, about things that are outside of LeBron James, Steph Curry, there's Asia Wilson, you know what I mean? And so I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful that the game has exploded to a point where we can, see stars in different forms.
It's also a credit to the product these athletes are putting on the court. South Carolina and Texas are meeting for the fourth time, where the winner will either go to the national championship or go home. Ogwumike says that's why we'll truly be seeing the best of the best on Championship Sunday.
Yesterday we were able to sit down with the coaches and the players, and we asked Coach Dawn, what do you expect? And she said, a slugfest. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be physical. We're preparing for that. It's going to be war. Then we asked Maddie Booker, what do you expect? She said, a bloodbath. And I love that. I mean, at this point, they know each other. Like, they were talking, we know each other's plays, we know all this stuff, which means the best hooper will win, the best team will win, hustle plays. Like, it's going to be a how bad do you want it game, and I can't wait.
And luckily, we won't have to wait too much longer. The Gamecocks and Longhorns tip off right here at Amalie Arena tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. It's time for another timeout here in Sports Zone, but stay right where you are because when we come back, we have more Final Four coverage coming for you right after this.